Soybeans and corn extend its rally and wheat goes down. Jerry Gidel is ready to assess all of that and more right here on Connected Farmer, your channel to keep you up to date with the latest trends in agriculture and livestock. So here, Jerry, we you have had a week where soybean continues to rally from last week. We have had significant purchases both by Mexico and China, and that's a lot of what we have realized over the week, along with hot weather in the United States.
Exactly. Those are some of the two features that supported the market this week, along with intensification here in both the U.S. and Iran situation. That's supposedly our, 10th or 12th day of fights there with intensification, along with along with the uh, Russians and the Ukrainians. Definitely that particular conflict has intensified here. Uh, Surprisingly, up until probably, well, as I said, 3 or 4, in the last month or so, it might be last 2 or 3 weeks, that both sides have decided to be a little more personal about their exporting facilities and that. The Russians intensified their bombing of Odessa and that area there, and the Ukrainians uh, decided that some of the port facilities between Crimea and the coast there, the Sea of Azov, that the Russians have used for shipping was fair game, and that definitely has intensified that thing. I think that's part of the reason why we had this kind of sudden break on Friday in wheat was the fact that there was talk that there was going to be some kind of a accord or deal or something to maybe uh, go back to the previous kind of gentleman's agreement, if you will, about not intensifying port facility situation, because that definitely can knock out your export capabilities. Now, Russia's wheat crop's supposed to be a solid one. I wouldn't say it's hugely good, but you can't ship it if you don't have port facilities, so that's another feature. And on the Ukrainian side, uh, okay crop, nothing spectacular there on the crop at this point. So, but they both need to get cash to keep the war going, and that's usually selling corn and wheat at this point along the way. So that was supposedly the big factor that hit the wheat market there on Friday. We were also up at previous highs, things like that. So any kind of information or rumors to that effect, I'd have to say right now it's probably 50-50 if something is really going to be worked out on that. But at this point, uh, the wheat market has quite a few influences right now, even the U.S. Spring wheat crop, which was observed this week by crop scouts out there. They came up with a 48 bushel average for the tour, which is actually down 1 bushel from last year. But it seemed to be a surprise to people that it was as good. Uh, Now, in reality of it is that the uh, U.S. yield was higher than that when the final scenarios that came through, because they do take this particular wheat crop look pretty early sometimes along the way. So from there,
So for soybeans, I think it's a great selling opportunity at this point with beans at 12.53.
uh, yeah, that's we are bouncing along here in the summertime, and it's up against the historic high that came through here. Really, actually, back when the markets basically had a major change in long-term attitude when the the great grain robbery occurred way back in the 72, 1972 and 73, and this 1250 has been a historically important level, and that because of that, uh, I'm not saying that the issues out there couldn't propel us with a war going on, uh, both in the Persian Gulf and in you, you, in the Black Sea. But right now, uh, that that situation is definitely been part of the scenario. And at this point, in the U.S., looking at our own crop situation here on things, yes, we've had some heat of significance here across the whole Midwest. And that, interestingly enough, though, probably the moisture situation, eastern Iowa through Ohio, Wisconsin, and to some extent, certain places in the southeast have way too much. We've got a lot of flooding issues there, uh, and that well, yes, well, there's things have dried out. Parts of western Iowa, Nebraska, the Dakotas, Kansas, and that. But overall, I don't know that we are in a situation here on at this stage of the game in summer. If we turn off completely dry the rest of the summer with plenty of heat, maybe things are going to be under stress. But right now, at least for old crop supplies, and that I was looking at utilizing these current prices going into the weekend uh, as a selling opportunity to finish up soybeans, and the same thing in old crop corn. I didn't sell the wheat before it broke. I'm not sure I want to sell it yet because I think that the wheat crop nationwide is probably going to slip a little bit yet on the August and September crop production. So there's usually seasonal strength on wheat until we get late in August versus September because you tend to need to move whatever wheat you're going to do while we're doing some of the corn scenarios. So that is a feature. And to some extent, if the fall temperatures cool and the rains come, then that's positive for the wheat's seeding for the coming years. So overall, that's a theory to look at right here going forward on things. We did end up having the Brent prices go back to $100 a barrel, which is pretty significant. We haven't been back there in probably 6, 8 weeks or longer on that uh, from there. So the Russian Ukrainian rumors are really interesting if they did come together on that. Uh, I think there's logic of them both deciding that that's not what they want to do because both of them are at risk if you start uh, damaging each other's Black Sea port facilities. But sometimes people get emotional and don't follow what they should do at times. We'll have to see if they do that or not. But right now, at least, I kind of feel like that this is a place to be in the old side. And actually, I've had 10% to 15% sales on corn and soybeans for new crop, and I would easily suggest doing another 10% there at these current prices. And then we'll see how things develop here during the month of August.
Yeah, so what do you expect for next week?
Well, I'm kind of anticipating we've had the heat in that around through Sunday and Monday, but then it's cooling off again. Uh, I guess to some extent, I'm willing to uh, lighten up my old crop supplies. I'm not. I guess I'm cautious that some kind of deals in the Mideast, or excuse me, in the Black Sea more than the Mideast. I think at this point will maybe moderate. And right now, at least, there is a modest cool off in temperatures, and uh, the rain activity, I think, is going to start to become as important as what the heat is out there. As I said before, eastern Iowa through the eastern Corn Belt has been hanging in here with moisture. It hasn't been as good west of I-35 and on into Nebraska, the Dakotas, and Kansas, but that's likely the case, but I guess I'm cautious that we could be in a sideways pattern here uh, for a couple weeks until we figure out for sure where the crop size is. This year particularly because of uh, the development of the crop and also some of our conflicts, we're not going to be able to get out there until closer to the middle of August, versus being there next week on our own little tour here. So we'll have to be sitting back waiting to see what that turns out to be. So, but right now, at least, I'm not anticipating a lot of. I- if something goes haywire on the and excuse me, in the Black Sea on the whatever's happening there. I don't think that the. By the way, I'm not sure that some of the reaction to that was maybe overdone, but even then, the what a complicated scenario. We got weather going on, we got all these various conflicts going on, and at the same time. So it depends a lot on what way the market's mood is by Tuesday.
All right, thank you very much, sir.